Do you know who Chaim Weizmann is? Because I do, and I want to talk about it today. In short, he was a political leader, first president of Israel. He was the president of the World Zionist Organization, and he was a biochemist who helped fight the Nazis in World War I. So Chaim Weizmann was born in Russia. He was a biochemist. Now, he was the third son out of 15 children, and only 9 of them, including him, finished college. The reason for this is back then in Europe, it was very hard for a Jew to get into higher education, so he went to Germany to study, and then he was able to finish his degree and became a biochemist. As I said, he served as the president of the World Zionist Organization, which is a huge accomplishment. He was in every single Zionist Congress except for the first one, which we all come late to events. He had travel problems, and because of that, he wasn't able to go. Now, as you probably know, the few things most people know about him is he was the first president of Israel, which is crazy and very productive. He helped create Israel by the fact that he wanted to be Theodore Herzl's successor, and he helped so much because he actually convinced Truman, the president of the U.S., to recognize Israel as a country. Originally, they wanted to give us Uganda, as many of you probably know, so he convinced them to change the path from Uganda to Israel, which we're all very grateful for because this is our homeland. Now, as I said, he was the first president of Israel. He was elected 16th of February 1949, and he served until his death in 1952. A few other things that he did was he founded what we know of now as the Weizmann Institute for Research. Back then it was called Daniel Safe Research Institute. I may have butchered that name, but hopefully I didn't, which was his late son, so he named it in honor of him. After Weizmann died, they renamed it after Weizmann in honor of him as the founder of it. He devoted his life to both Zionism and science. Also in World War I, what he did was he helped the British create a chemical called acetone, which was needed for the British to fire their weapons. Now, what happened was the Americans were supplying the Brits with this chemical called acetone, but they were being blocked by the Germans in World War I, so they couldn't actually get through. So Churchill went to this chemist who people spoke about, who was Weizmann, and asked him if he could help him create this chemical. So he found a way to create it a lot simpler than what most people were doing, and he worked on mass producing it with different breweries and other places around the UK. So it ended up coming out to several thousand kilos per day that they were producing, and it really helped for the war. I want to talk for a second about his nephew, just to show how Zionist and how powerful his family was. Besides Weizmann, there was Ezer Weizmann, who was, I said, his nephew, his brother's son, and this person, which we'll probably make an entire episode about him, was the commander of the IAF at some point. He was also the 7th president of Israel, which is an accomplishment on its own, and it just proves that their family was extremely pro-Zionism, and they acted so well upon it. So that was Chaim Weizmann's life in short. I will link a video in the description talking about more of what he did. He did so much, and it's really amazing. So please subscribe if you're not, hit that like button, and again, submit in the comments other ideas for people you want us to do. I'll see you next week.